Hi, everyone. Ashley, are we good to go?
Yes, we are.
Awesome. Okay. It is 1:50 and I'm gonna get us going with Public Works. So I'm gonna call the Public Works Committee to order. And if we could share the information for the public to participate. Thank you. So we continue to meet virtually, and I think by now, most of you know how to participate virtually. Please know that you always leave a message for City Council by calling 406-552-6012, and you can email council with comments or questions at council@ci.missoula.mt.us. If you're joining us via Zoom webinar, let us know by using your raise and lower hand feature to let us know you would like to provide public comment, and we will unmute you and allow you to participate. So with that, we will go to roll call for attendance, please.
Anderson? Becerra?
Present.
Carlino?
Present.
Contos?
Here.
Hess?
Present.
Jones?
Present.
Jordan?
Present.
Nugent?
Present.
Savage?
Present.
Cheryl?
Present.
Vasika?
Present.
West? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. And we have minutes from January 19th to approve any changes to the minutes from anyone. Okay, seeing none, those will stand approved. We will check to make sure. If I don't see any public in attendance, so with that, we will move ahead on our agenda to our first item. Ooh, sorry, toggling screens here. And that is a purchase agreement with Ennis Flint Incorporated for high build paint. And Chad Pancake is here to present.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Doing well, thanks.
Good. This is just a referral for the approval of our standard yearly paint. No extra funding. This comes out of our 2512 Road District Traffic Services 2512 Road District funding for routine maintenance of bike lanes, yellow striping, curbs, crosswalks, all the above, and the addition of new as well. So what we're asking for is 2,000 gallons of white, 2,000 gallons of yellow, so 4,000 gallons of high build traffic paint through Ennis Flint for $11.37 a gallon. And this was once again ran through the Sourcewell cooperative purchasing agreement, so we get the best deals on them through them. And I think that's all. I think that's all I have.
Great. Thank you, Chad.
You bet.
And let's see. Sandra, go ahead.
I'll make the recommended motion, and I also have a question regarding painting. There was a complaint, I think, oh gosh, sometime last year or the year before, on Johnson and Mount of the yellow curb, that it was not really yellow anymore. And the next day it was being painted. I was very impressed. I was just wondering if that's standard practice or if that was a special thing, but I wanted to give you kudos for that.
Oh, well, thank you. That's nice of you. Just due to budget reasons and manpower, personnel reasons, we can't make it through the city, and we'd love to start at one end of the city and work our way all the way across it. We'd probably need upwards of 5,000 to 7,000 gallons of yellow to refreshen the whole entire city every single year alone. So we kind of do it on a as needed complaint or concern based driven policy here. And it works really well, and we like to be super reactive to those because it is a safety issue, and And we get that we can't do it every year. So when we do get those complaints, we put those pretty well at the top of our priority and safety list. So we take them pretty seriously.
Great, thank you.
You bet. Thanks for the compliment.
Thank you, Chad. That, and Chad is a mind reader, so he knows where before complaints. I agree. This is a really important safety issue, and addressing it is important. So we have a motion on the floor. We do have public, so let us know if you would like to provide public comment on this particular item. Seeing none, we will take a roll call vote, please, Ashley.
Becerra,
Yes.
Carlino,
Yes.
Contos,
Yes.
Hess,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Nugent,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Vasika.
Yes.
Okay, that is 10 yeses and 0 nos.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Chad. So that will be on our consent agenda.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Next, we have 3 more items. Andy Schultz will be presenting all of those, but let's go ahead with the first one, which is a bid award with Knife River for West Broadway to from May to Front, the water main replacement. Thank you.
Perfect. Yep. Hi, I'm Andy Schultz. I'm city engineer for utilities. We've got 3 projects to bring in front of you. I'll give you some background on each of them and then the construction cost. If I'm going into too much detail or you want to know more information, feel free to join in or pipe up and let me know. But so earlier this month, we bid out 3 projects that our consultant WGM Group designs. And so the first project here is the West Broadway May to Front water main replacement project. Let me share my screen if you'll bear with me.
I was just going to suggest that. So thank you.
Yep. You guys able to see that?
Yeah.
Is there a map? Okay, perfect. So this project runs from May Street down West Broadway and connects into West Front Street. So it's right in front of the hospital, the future MOB, and then some of this riverfront triangle project that's happening. So during a leak repair on this section of Main, it is in West Broadway. The leak got fixed, but it was noticed that the pipe was super corroded and in pretty poor condition. So due to the difficulty of repairing leaks in West Broadway, as well as kind of this future development that's happening around St. Pat's and at the riverfront triangle, this moved to the top of our priority list for main replacements. So what we're looking to do is replace about 650 feet of water main from May Street to Front. We'll also extend the main out of West Broadway along McCormick Street for a possible future tie-in there to loop the system. And then we're going to also add new fire hydrants at the intersection of May and West Broadway, and as well as Front Street and West Broadway. So this the bids that we received were opened on January 13th. We only got a single bid on this project. It was from Knife River. It is in line with the engineer's estimate. So it's, I think it's in a very appropriate bid, even though we got a single one. So I'd like to move that we award the project to Knife River Corporation in the amount of $342,000 and $342,800. And then as far as funding goes, we're going to fund a portion of all 3 of these water main projects. They're all the same. We'll fund about 50% of it out of our ARPA minimum allocation. And then we've also submitted an ARPA competitive grant for the remaining portion of the project. So we won't find out that if we got that or not till later this spring. So fingers crossed that it'll be fully funded by ARPA. If we don't receive that grant, the remaining portion will be funded through the Water Enterprise Fund via a state revolving fund or SRF fund. So that's all I've got.
Thanks for that funding background, Andy. Appreciate it. Jordan, go ahead.
Thanks, Andy. I appreciate these always. It's great to see public investment in the water system since public ownership, and I appreciate the information provided, and I'd be happy to make the recommended motion.
Great, thanks, Jordan. So we have a motion on the floor. Any questions from council members? Okay, I don't see any hands up. Questions or comments from the public? Mr. Larson.
Yeah, this is Matt Larson. I'm seeing that there was a bid put out for this, and I'm wondering how we're getting to the $390,000 number, especially if there's no other people that submitted bids to this. As I recall, we're doing all the stormwater, wastewater utility improvements for about the same amount of money for the entire South Hills. So I'm just wondering why one little main pipe costs roughly the same amount of money as the entire wastewater system for the South Hills.
Sure.
Go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
Great. The bid amount is $342,800. And so that's a construction cost of South Hills estimate that you're referencing. That's for engineering and design and construction admin on that. So there will be that doesn't include actually any construction. So it's comparing apples to oranges in that realm. And so we do take a look at these bids very, very closely, especially when we receive a single bid. It's a tough bidding market. I think, as everyone knows, the contractors are in high demand. So getting a whole bunch of them to bid on projects can be difficult. So our engineers do have, as well as we do, have historical price data. So for reference on this project, the engineer's estimate was essentially $300,000. So this project came in, the bid came in about $40,000 more, which we feel is appropriate because since that engineer's estimate, we have to work with MDT as West Broadway as MDT right away, and they've added some requirements that water services are bored. We have to do additional testing for compaction. So all that adds some additional costs. So that's, I think, where we have determined that this is a fair and equitable bid.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, I think given the environment we're in right now, we're kind of lucky that we even got one bid, and the amount falls within what was expected by our engineers. So thanks for that answer. And we have a motion on the floor, so we will go ahead and get a roll call vote, please, Ashley.
Sarah,
Yes.
Carlino,
Yes.
Contos,
Yes.
Hess,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Nugent,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Vasika.
Yes.
Okay, that is 10 yeses and 0 nos.
Great, thanks. So that will be on our consent agenda. And Andy, you got the next one.
All right, thank you. So our second project today is the Shakespeare water main replacement. Again, I will share my screen here. Let's see. All right, hopefully you are all seeing it. So in that exhibit, the section of main we are replacing is highlighted in that kind of reddish pink color. So this project is going to replace an existing 6-inch Coulee main, water main, and it's from 1914, which is pretty crazy, but it runs from Shakespeare, along Shakespeare from Phillips Street to Howell Street. So due to the age and the material type, this main is a priority 1 replacement project for Missoula Water. And so this particular project was prompted by City Streets Department. They have a project to repair the asphalt on Shakespeare Street. So this is a main route for Mountain Line to get to their bus depot, and the asphalt. So it sees a lot of traffic, and the asphalt's in very poor condition. So we'll partner with Streets to get our water main installed ahead of them coming back and repaving it. So it'll replace about 685 feet of water main, and then Streets will come back and pave the trench and repair the street when we're done. So again, we opened these bids on January 13th. This time we did get 4 bids. It's a less complicated project. You don't have to deal with MDT, and it'll be a lot quicker, I think, just doing a block of main. So we had more interested contractors. Western Excavating was the lowest bid with a total bid of $269,173. And so funding is similar to West Broadway, where half of it about will be part of our minimum ARPA allocation. And then we've got the ARPA competitive grant out there. If that doesn't work, then we have, or if that isn't accepted, then we have SRF funding lined up. So I'm here to ask council to award the contract for this work to Western Excavating in the amount of $269,173.
Thank you, Andy. And Jordan, go ahead.
Yeah, happy to make the recommended motion to replace this 108-year-old pipe.
Yes, thank you. When I used to live in Phillips, the house that I lived in was built in 1908, and I think the piping was put right after that, because that's in much need of replacement. Amber.
Yeah, thanks. I was going to make the recommended motion as well, but I do have a question for Andy. And this question kind of goes back to, I was in St. Louis a while ago, and we drove up to literally a giant hole in the concrete with water just bursting out of it like 100 feet in the air or something. It was the craziest thing in a neighborhood. And I'm curious, like, does that happen with water mains just completely failing when you have water mains this old? And I read a little more about it after I saw it, because it was such a dramatic event. And St. Louis had 2 or 3 of these over the previous years. And I just happened to be driving, I guess, at the right time, since it happened right before I drove over it. But I'm just curious. I mean, when they have catastrophic failure, it's not just that people don't get their water.
Correct. Yep. We're pretty fortunate. I mean, I guess it's a double-edged sword, but we're fortunate in Missoula that, you know, our soils infiltrate so much water that it's very rare, or not very rare, but fairly rare, that the leaks actually will surface. A lot of times they just get absorbed into the ground and back into the aquifer that we pump the water out of. So that makes it a little difficult to identify leaks in larger leaking areas. A lot of times we are able to figure that out because we'll get complaints about low pressure when we shouldn't have low pressure. And that's just because there's so much flow going down the line. And that's how we know we have a major leak. But yeah, it's very, it can be very catastrophic and make a really big mess in a hurry. And so that's where, like, we have a program, we exercise valves, and any new project, we install new valves, because that allows you to isolate the system and minimize the number of people who are out of water during kind of these emergency situations. So hopefully, you know, it would be limited to a block or 2 at most to kind of shut the water main down to do the repair.
Thanks.
We have a motion on the floor. Questions and comments from council. We will go to comments from the public. On this item, Mr. Larson. Mr. Larson? I see your hand up and I've allowed you to unmute, but okay. We will move to a roll call vote then.
Becerra,
Yes.
Carlino,
Yes.
Contos,
Yes.
Hess,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Nugent,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Vasika.
Yes.
Okay, that is 10 yeses and 0 nos.
Great. So that too will be on our consent agenda. Thank you. And our last item on the agenda. Go ahead, Andy.
All right. So this is our third and final project, and it's the Coulee Street and Stoddard Street water main replacement. Again, I'll share my screen. Hopefully that comes through. Again, it's kind of that reddish pink line is what we're replacing. So this project will replace 6-inch invasion steel water main from 1947 along Coulee, Stoddard, Bulwer, and Burton streets. This type of water main is very thin-walled steel and is very susceptible to corrosion. So it's again a priority for a priority one for the water department to get that out of service. And so this project was prompted by the Trinity Coulee apartment project, which is that block that you see with a bunch of 1600s labeled. So that's currently under construction. As part of that project, they'll be doing half street improvements all along that project. And so we're going to take advantage of that and install our water main where they're going to be resurfacing the street. So we'll have some asphalt savings. But then for their advantage, we'll be installing a fire hydrant as part of our project that they would have been required to anyway. So it's a good partnership there. And then, we were looking at these two blocks along Coulee and Stoddard and taking a closer look, and basically the entire red highlighted section is all that invasion steel. So we expanded the project to basically get rid of that invasion steel in this whole area. So and we'll do that as a single project. And so it's about 2,600 linear feet of water main, a fairly large project. Again, we opened these bids on January 13th. We got 3 bids. Prospect Construction was the lowest bidder with a total bid of $1,019,926. And then again, funding ARPA minimum allocation will be about half of it with an ARPA competitive grant out there. But if we don't get that, we do have SRF financing through the Water Enterprise Fund.
Andy, did you say that this too has some street component to it or no?
The only street component is those 2 blocks along Stoddard and Coulee that the Trinity Coulee project will be replacing. So we'll basically eliminate 2 blocks of paving that we won't have to do, and then we'll come back and patch the asphalt through the rest of it.
Okay, any questions from council members or anyone interested in making the motion? And Jordan.
I'll make the recommended motion again.
Great, thank you. Any questions from council members? Okay, no public in attendance. So we will take a roll call vote, please.
Becerra,
Yes.
Carlino,
Yes.
Contos,
Yes.
Hess,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Nugent,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Vasika.
Yes.
Okay, that's 10 yeses and 0 nos.
Great. So that will be on our consent agenda. And thank you, Andy, for making Missoula great, one main replacement at a time.
Perfect. Yes. Thank you all for your time.
Okay. So with that, we don't have any other agenda items, so we would be adjourned. Thank you.
Wow.